What's up, males and females? It is me with another video. So they want to learn how to make vocal chops. So here's how to make vocal chops, basically. So before we get into this tutorial, a little announcement here. Yesterday I released an ultimate vocal chops library sample pack. 180 vocal chops, 25 free vocal chops samples, and this is currently on summer sale, 50% off. So make sure you check this out before the sale is gone. Okay, let's go right into the video. What are vocal chops? So basically what vocal chops are is basically they're little snippets of a human voice recording, repositioned, repitched, chopped, and they usually create a certain rhythm, a certain melody, and they work as an instrument. So there's a couple of ways you can make vocal chops. I prepared 3 of them. One is a manual vocal chops. Another one is using slicing. And the third one is playing vocal chops using only one note. So you basically hold one note on your keyboard and it's playing random vocal chops. So you don't even have to do anything, you just hold one note and it's making vocal chops for you. So let's start with the first one. Okay, so this is a vocal sample we've recorded a couple of days ago, me and really great vocalist. So I'm gonna play it back for you. This is already post-processed, so it's gonna sound a little bit more beefy than the dry vocal chop, but I'm gonna get through all of these effects so you can know actually what I did here, why it sounds this way, not the other. Okay.
Looking at the clouds as they pass, lost in thoughts, can't find us, feeling hope drowning down. Someone please help me out.
Okay, so here, after post-processing this vocal loop, I started looking for pieces of this vocal that are pretty like a long single note. They work really good as a vocal chops and they sound pretty much like this. Yeah, so what I did is basically I highlight this and I just drag this away holding Alt in my case or Control. So it basically duplicates the highlighted part of the vocal. You can do a Control or Command E and it's gonna just cut it. You can do the same thing and just drag it and duplicate it like that. So after looking for these pieces, I just highlight them, I just copy them in a different place, one after another. From there, I go a little further and I just copy this and I create a melody out of this vocal. So basically I just go like that, copy this, copy that. And then I use this transpose knob to transpose the vocal chop. So it basically allows me to, by pitching this up or down, it allows me to create a melody out of a different vocal snippets. And I'm using this complex pro mode, which allows me to maintain the human feel of the vocal, which sounds like this. Check this out. If we pitch this up, it sounds more like a human. It kind of maintains this formal thing of a real human voice. If we put this down to 0, sounds like a kind of chipmunky, really high-pitched, kind of weird vocal. So you can do it if you like that. I use usually Formant's 100%. So after doing this, I prepared this little loop for you so you can actually take a look what you can do out of just chopping and repositioning, pitching up and down vocals. Before we go into post-processing of this, really important thing, if you get at the end of the vocal chop, if you get a click, it is really important to use these fades to just fade in. Usually if you didn't touch preferences in Ableton, you should be able to, when you cut something, the Ableton should automatically create fades here, so there's no clicks. But if you turned off this option, you may like to, for like a little chopping session, you may want to turn it back, so it doesn't click. Okay, so let's dive into post-processing here. Let's just turn off everything except of this low cut here. Okay, so I use Nectar 3 for pitch correction, and it is already set to D major, so this plugin is making sure that the whole vocal chops are in tune. Another one is OTT, a little bit for some high-end brightness and clarity. And then we have Ozonate Exciter, which is, if I'm not mistaken, adding a little bit of the distortion to the sound, so it's more kind of warm, saturated, and basically more pleasant, filled with more frequencies, fuller. So another one is, it doesn't need to be necessarily, if you make vocal chops, you probably don't have any S letters in it. So we don't need de-esser, but I had this because this is actually a part of the vocal that needed de-esser. So yeah, it's not doing anything. We can even delete it. Another one is a compressor, and again, if you see that your vocal chops are different in volume, so there may be, for example, part of the vocal chop may be really like louder, you don't want to just go manually and fix it. You may need to apply a compressor, so we just make the volume pretty even. So another one is a Serum FX, and I'm applying here a chorus for some stereo width, and then some delay, which is like this delay is just one hit because the feedback is on 0%, so there's only one repetition, and there's no additional feedback. And then we have some reverb for additional space, just a little bit, so it's not very dry. Another one is a Valhalla frequency echo. I believe this is free plugin. I may be not sure. It kind of works like a delay, so I just set these knobs to the position I like. And another one is a Haas effect, which is making these vocal chops very wide. So what Haas effect is, let me explain it really quickly. It is basically the tool that is delaying one of the stereo channels, so you get one channel is playing on a normal timing and another one is delayed a little bit, so you kind of get that feeling that this is really wide. Okay, so let's go with another method. Okay, this one is one of my favorite methods. Okay, actually there are 3 methods, so that doesn't really count. Okay, so what it is basically you have a simpler with no sample in it, and you just drag the audio file into it. So you get this, you can play it back if you want. But if you want to slice it and turn into vocal chops, you use the slice tab, and it is slicing currently in default by transient. You can change it if you want to be synced to your host tempo to beat. This is what I usually do, so it's evenly divided. And then you create a MIDI clip and you put in notes here. Etc. And there's a little disadvantage of this method, is that to transpose a vocal chop you need to automate this transpose button. So this is a little pain in the ass that you need to write these automations. So let's go to the one that I made already. So again, I'm using this kind of formant shifting, and I did this not in a sampler here because it sounds a little different, a little less natural. I use this formant shifting thing inside Nectar. So if I turn this off, it's gonna sound like that chipmunky thing, and if I push the formants to 100%, I get this. It is a little different than the Nectar thing. Sounds a little more kind of weird, unnatural for me. Sounds more natural for me. Also, the whole vocal loop is being pitched 12 semitones, which is 1 octave up. Yeah, so normally it would sound like this. So then I apply the warp to maintain the length of the vocal vocal chop. And then I push this 12 semitones up. So I get this chipmunky thing, and then I apply the form shifting inside the nectar. And then we have the same chain as in the previous one, which is an OTT, de-esser, not necessarily being here, exciter, some compressor, some in this. Oh yeah, that was some kind of de-esser that I was trying to incorporate here. Not necessary. Serum effects, again, adding the same thing as the previous one, a little chorus for stereo width, delay, and reverb for space. And then we have the same thing, because I literally just copied the same chain into this one. Yeah, and then we have this Haas effect. You may not need to use Haas effect sometimes. I mean, you may need to use Haas effect sometimes, because usually when you have something in the middle of your mix, you may want to put vocal chops in the left and right, hardly panned. So there's a space for the instrument that's playing directly in the middle. But if the vocal chops are playing in the middle and they're the main instrument, you may just want to leave them here and put other instrument really wide. Yeah, but it works. And then some EQ, because one of the plugins, I guess Exciter, left this low end here, so I need to cut this out. And then we have some reverb for some extra space. Yeah. Okay, so that was the second method. Let's go to another one, which is the last one. Be ready, because what you're gonna hear right now may be a little surprising. Hopefully it'll sound good. Okay, so this is it. Yeah. Okay, so what it is the same thing as here. I literally duplicated this channel. It's the same sliced vocal loop, and then we have two MIDI effects here, random and arpeggiator. So arpeggiator is playing, it's basically repeating the same note. If you play two notes, it is gonna just switch between them depending on the speed and depending on the gate. Is not doing anything here actually. Yeah, but if you add random to this and if you increase the chance, it is gonna go between different notes based on the note you hit. So let's say I'm clicking D sharp right now on my keyboard. It doesn't really matter. I just find this vocal chop sound good, so I just keep it. And when I increase the chance of the random plugin to 100%, it's 100% random. 12 choices, you can have 12 different vocal chops. And also I set the steps to 2, so basically it is choosing between D sharp note and 2 scales above it, so it has, I guess, 24 choices now. Yeah, it looks like. Now you can basically create a new track, turn it into a resampling, arm both of them, and now you hold one note while recording. And if you're lucky, you're gonna get really cool vocal chop. So if it decreases the chance to like 50%, it has 50% chance that will play different vocal chop than this one. Okay, so that's it. If you enjoyed, you can sight in the subscribe button. Also, don't forget to visit my site over sample.us and check out the Ultimate Vocal Chops library. Okay, see you in the next one. Have a great day. Bye.